It was pretty cold.
Yeah, I remember that.
Y'all are ready. All right, welcome everyone to the Riviera Beach Planning and Zoning Board meeting. The time now is 6:30 p.m., April 10th, 2025. Welcome everyone in the audience and on TV and everyone in attendance. If anyone wishes to speak on the agenda item, please complete a public comment card and give it to the planning and zoning staff prior to the board discussion and before the public comment section is announced. If in no event will anyone be allowed to submit a comment card to speak on the agenda item after the title of the item is read or considered. The total time allotted for each member of the public or comment on each item is 3 minutes. Number one, let's have a moment of silence. And let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Section 2, roll call.
Ms. Joseph,
Present.
Here.
Ms. Burgess,
Here.
Mr. Wiley,
Present.
we have a quorum.
Is there an acknowledgement of any board member absence notification?
Yes, Chair. Vice Chair Frank Fernandez, he did give notification that he will not be in attendance tonight. Also, Mr. Anthony Brown did give notice that he will not be in attendance tonight.
Thank you.
And with that being said, Chair, the voting members would be for tonight would be Chair Wiley, Ms. Burgess, Ms. Shepherd, Ms. Lucy, and for District 4, by them not having no alternate, Mr. James Gallen will be a voting member tonight.
All right, thank you. Acknowledgement of any board member vacant positions.
The vacant positions are Chair District 2, District 4. Those are the vacant positions.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Mr.
Yes,
Chair.
ma'am.
District 5, you have District 5, but don't you have a vacant? Am I wrong? I'm sorry.
Joseph.
Ms. Joseph, District 5, who is the member? Is that Mr. Brown?
No, Mr. Brown is the alternate for District 1.
So, Mr. Chair, wow, this mic is very strong tonight. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, so there is a vacant seat for District 5, which was vacated by Mr. Guyton when he was elevated to the city council.
Correct.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, on to section 3. Any additions and deletions to the agenda?
We have no additions or deletions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. On to section 4, disclosure by any board members.
I do, Mr. Chair. I've had conversations with Mr. Sam Bauer, I think it is, and Ms. Leah Gaines on the project that we're about to talk about.
Anyone else? And will there be an adoption of the agenda?
So move.
Second.
Are we ready for the roll call, Chair?
Yes.
Mr. Gallen,
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd,
Yes.
Ms. Burgess,
Yes.
Ms. Joseph,
Yes.
Mr. Wiley.
Yes.
The vote passes with unanimous vote, Chair.
On to section 5, the approval minutes.
So move.
Second.
It has been properly moved in second, Chair. Are we ready for the For the vote,
Yes.
Ms. Joseph,
Yes.
Ms. Burgess,
Yes.
Mr. Galvin,
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd,
Yes.
Chair Wiley.
Yes.
Vote passes with unanimous vote, Chair.
Okay, on to section 6 where we have unfinished business.
We have no matters under unfinished business, Mr. Chair.
Right, on to section 7 where we have new business.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, approving a plat request PA-23-0006 application from the Silver Beach Road Partners LLC for the Aquilina mixed-use development to include 399 condominiums, residential units, plus minus 9,680 square feet of retail, plus minus 17,120 square feet for restaurants, and plus minus 11,000 square feet of office space with a parking garage on approximately plus minus 3.385 acres of land, plus minus 147, 452 square feet, generally located at 3700 Broadway Street, providing for conditions of approval, providing for an effective date, and for other purposes. The presenter tonight will be none other than the principal planner, Kurt Thompson.
Thank you, Ms. Weathers. For the record, I'm Kurt Thompson, Principal Planner for the City of Riviera Beach. And this is a plat, just to remind the board briefly that this was approved as a site plan, a rezoning to the IAC PUD, and a text change. The IAC PUD was in the form of a special exception, has Ms. Weathers enumerated, and here in the preamble, what has been approved. Now, the last element here is the replat, which you all have in front of you. So let me continue. This is a location of the subject property by the dot, which shows the property here. It's at the southeast corner of Broadway and Silver Beach Road. And was stated in the site plan location. The plat is being submitted for processing and approval for the Aquilina project. The site plan approval for the Aquilina project was a mixed-use development, as Abrella has said already, and the location is 3700 Broadway. As the board remembers, as I said before, this was approval for the 399 condominium units, 17,120 square feet of restaurant, 11,000 square feet of office space on a site of 3.38 acre parcel at 3700 Broadway. This, what you see here before you, board members, is the signature sheet for the subject plat. And then this is page 2 of the replat that you see here on the overhead. Page 3 has indicated here. This is a copy of the letter for the approval by Ingenuity. Ingenuity is the city's third-party surveyor that reviews all the city's plats, and accordingly, in the what's mentioned in the, I'm sorry. Here we go. Yeah, there's the approval letter. As mentioned in their approval letter, this plat has met all of the requirements of Chapter 177 in the Florida statute and Chapter 30 of the City of Riviera Beach's Code of Ordinances. This is a site illustration of the associated site, which you have all seen before in the past. I think it's all except for, I think Ms. Joseph was not, I don't think he was sitting on the board at the time. So that's why I want to make sure Ms. Joseph explained thoroughly what the project is about. And then if you have any questions, I'll do my best to try to answer your questions, ma'am.
Thank you.
In fact, the whole point of this is that they've met all the parking regulations. They met the site plan issues. And now this is at the last phase of this project, ma'am, which is now the approval of the plat. And then from that point, they move on to this would then go to the city council before they can apply for building permits, et cetera. This is the request from the applicant. As I said before, it's a mixed-use development, including the number of the 399 residential units or condo units for sale. These are not apartments, okay? 9,600 square feet of retail, 17,120 square feet of restaurant, and 11,000 square feet of office. In the Inlet Harbor Center Plan Unit Development, also known as the IAC PUD, there is a requirement in the code that you have at least 3 areas of I guess if you pardon my vernacular, money making or funds that are generated by the use. In this instance, they have residential, they have retail, they have restaurant, and they also have office space. There are 2 other elements, but they got 3 of the 5 before you that was approved as a part of the site plan. Okay. Currently, the site still has the vacant old Winn-Dixie building that was there. You have the parcel number, there's the lot size, and the zoning is now IAC PUD. It was at one time, I think it was downtown core, and now it's been rezoned to the IAC PUD. There are approximately, okay, so let me go back. There are, according to Chapter 30, the subdivision regulations of the City of Riviera Beach Code of Ordinances, and the main point here I want to point out to the planning and zoning staff, planning and zoning board, is that number one, that the staff has determined that this plat protects the public health, safety, and welfare. 2, that the proposed plat will not be in violation of the comfort and convenience of the general public. And those are the 2 main points. So I'll go back to that so you can all see that. So with that, Mr. Chairman, staff respectfully ask that the board consider recommending to the City of Riviera Beach City Council approval of the proposed replat. Mr. Brian Terry, who is on part of the planning consulting firm of Insight Studio that put this project together, is here. Along Mr. Sam Bauer is also here, Vice President of Forest Development, to answer any particular questions. But this now is a pretty straightforward request. When I say straightforward, I say that in quotes, and that the last element of this project is the replat. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I will conclude our staff's presentation. If there are any questions of myself or of the applicant, they are both here. And thank you for listening.
All right, thank you. Would someone like to come up to speak more about?
Good evening, Brian Terry with Insight Studio. That was an extremely thorough presentation by Mr. Thompson. I'm not sure that there's anything I could add. I'm certainly here to answer any questions that you might have, but I appreciate the time.
Thank you. Board members, do we have any questions? And do we have any comment cards?
Yes, sir, Chair. We have one public comment card. Miss Rochelle, I don't want to mispronounce your last name. Hughes. Howard. Yes, sir. We have one, Miss Hughes.
Good evening,
Good evening, ma'am.
Board. So I know I'm late to the game. My name is Rochelle Hughes, but I watched last week's planning and zoning meeting regarding the future land use and all that stuff. And people were talking about, 25 stories and, Broadway. I'm thinking Broadway wants to be the downtown area, I guess. But as I drove down Broadway from Lake Park to here, number one, I saw the Nautilus. Looks out of place. And this is going right next to it. So I feel really bad for the residents that are going to be blocked by sunlight, that have been used to having sunlight, probably in the western. But also I have to ask, because they talk about 399 condominium residential units. That's about 800 vehicles. Because I'm sorry, nobody's going to walk, nobody's going to take transportation. They talk about retail, they talk about restaurant and office space. So I have to ask, is there any workforce or affordable housing going in to this 25-story building? And do the developers already have retailers who are just chomping at the bit to come in? Do they have any restaurant people who want to come in? Because what I see when you travel, I was down in Fort Lauderdale about a month ago. Their US 1 is high rise after high rise after high rise. And there's supposedly office and retail and restaurant space. Half of them are empty. Half of those places are empty down at the bottom. There is no retail, there is no restaurant, there's no office. It's like for rent, for lease, the restaurant closed because there's so much going on. So I have to ask, and I know you guys are just the planning and zoning board, I get it, but I guess we have to ask, like in your last meeting, is what do we want Broadway to look like? Do you want it to be all 25-story buildings? Because that's kind of, I feel like, where we may be going. Or do you want it to be a downtown area where people within Riviera Beach and outside can come and enjoy actual shops, a theater, whatever. So I just have to ask, are there workforce and affordable housing, or is this all just going to be high-priced condominiums? And do they have people who want office, retail, and restaurants? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, would someone like to come up and address some of her questions? Where she spoke of workforce or affordable housing, and also will there be any restaurants or any retailers who are ready to come in and start off immediately?
Sure. Again, Brian Terry, for the record. So, yes, we have space allocated for the restaurant, the retail space. We do not have a particular user for that at this point in time. It's a bit premature for that. So that will go out into the market, and we'll be able to bring on users for those spaces at the appropriate time. Today is not that time. And then as far as the workforce, we have an upcoming component to this whole application, which is called the MIHA program. There are requirements within the code, within the IHC PUD, and then the MIHA programs, which we utilize through the planning and zoning process, which does require workforce components and contributions. That is going to be presented to the council at an upcoming council meeting and adoption of the MIHA program in of itself. So that would be the appropriate time, again, to review the nuances of those attributes of the project.
Mr. Chairman, if I may,
Yes.
There is going to be a contribution of approximately $4,935,000 in lieu of, for the workforce housing. Those funds will be used to be deposited with the city's housing program to look at developing workforce housing. So that's their contribution. It's almost $5 million to do a payment in lieu as part of the MEHOP program.
Now, with the 399 spaces, condominium residential units, how much will be allocated toward that? How many how many units will be allocated towards that? Is there a ballpark figure with that now?
Well, it would have been approximately, I think, 60 or 90 units, as I recall. Don't quote me on that, but according to the program, the Minority Employment and Housing Opportunity Program, it does allow them, in lieu of providing those units, they're making a payment to the city in the form of almost $5 million to take care of that. In addition, I heard the nice lady from the community also indicated about parking. The parking requirement is 999 spaces, and the applicant will be providing 1,007 parking spaces for all aspects of the use.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So the way their participation in the MEHOP program is that then the city will be able to use those $5 million to build workforce or affordable housing elsewhere within the city.
Now that leads to my next question. And I know we spoke about this before, about the property that is immediate south of that, the shopping plaza. And I know we spoke of the owner there and possibly expansion to that area if it was willing to sell. Have you heard anything from that person yet?
We have not, no. That's been obviously, that would be nice to be able to incorporate it and do something in conjunction with the proposed Oculina, but that's not been able to occur.
Well, hopefully in future use.
Right. Keep trying.
Are any other questions by the board?
Yes, Mr. Chair, as I listened to Mrs. Hughes talk about the units, I was one of the ones that voted against that. And I think this is about the fourth time it came before us, I think. And unfortunately, maybe fortunately, I kind of turned to look at it a little different because I've been down to Miami and buildings are skyscrapers. And fortunately for me, I like to shop and I like to go down and eat and take my relatives when they come from the Bahamas. And so I had to look at this very different. Do I want this to come to Riviera Beach? And I start talking to myself. I feel like it would be an asset because that whole quarter is going to be built out. They've already bought the land. It's already been spoken for. And I heard Mrs. Erica Davis talk about coming around that spot right there, Broadway and Blue Heron. It is tight. It's very tight. Will we adapt to it? I think so. It's been in a plan for a long time. And I think it's taken me a while to go over there and just look at this particular project because I wasn't very happy with the way it was cut. I think to me, it was too close to the street. And yes, the neighbors are there. Will they adapt? I think so, Ms. Hughes. Fortunately for us, I think bringing these projects in will bring money in because we know one thing, that Riviera Beach is strapped for cash. So we need the taxes. Will it affect the residents? I think it will. But the good thing about it is that when they come here with the restaurants and whatever, the spaces, I think we're going to be very happy with it. Do the regular Joe, will they afford those condominiums, 1.7 million? I don't think so. So it gives us the idea to understand one thing, that people from the north or wherever they're coming from, they're going to enjoy Riviera Beach. And we should be happy because Riviera Beach is a golden project. And it has been on the line. We just have not had the opportunity to get people in here to move forward. this particular project is, I think, moving forward. And if I had to vote on it today, I would vote on the project coming to Riviera Beach. If it was such an eyesore, or if it was something that people didn't like, they would have filled up this whole building. They heard the comprehensive plan last week. They heard it. Did they come? No, but they'll come here and start complaining about the infrastructure, about this and that. Why didn't they come and start speaking up for this project? Been here 4 times. So I don't think we can stop them because they already have the land and they're ready to go. So my thing is that I would vote on it because I think now I would want to see progress. And whether we like Miami or Fort Lauderdale, that's where when they get off the plane, my family get off the plane, they don't come to Riviera Beach. They stop in Fort Lauderdale. Their money stop in Fort Lauderdale and Miami. Why don't I want to get that money? I think I deserve that money. My family deserves that money. Your family deserves that money. So I would vote on it, Mr. Chair. It's something that you all keep mentioning, ICPUD. What is that?
Of the Inlet Harbor Center Planned Unit Development. Enter is the I, H is the harbor, and C is the center. Inlet Harbor Planned Unit Development.
Okay, why do you use that phrase? I'm sorry, I should have called you.
That's the name of the zoning district, Ms. Shepherd. That's
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
that's when it was created. That's what it was called.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's all.
Mrs. Lucy, do you have any questions?
Mr. Thompson, are there additional infrastructure upgrades that this project has to do?
Well, when if and when this project is developed, and it appears that they have every intention to do so, they'll all of the utility companies, all of the agencies have indicated that they have no problem with providing water, sewer, drainage, things like that. Plus, they're going to have to go through a building permit process, and all the city agencies, including zoning, because I'll probably the one that will look at it when it comes from building permit from the zoning side. So.
I do have one more problem, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I did get the MEHOP program on my phone. Leah sent it to me. I think Sam or Leah. I don't know who sent it to you. You did, okay. I asked for a copy. I like to have a hard copy of it because I like to keep things in my file. Because as you get older, you just forget things. And when people are asking you questions, I just like to refresh my mind of the MEHOP program. And what really bothered me about the program, I should have said this, our people, I don't think, get first crack at the jobs. That's my opinion. And my opinion is that when these projects are going up, I guess because I'm retired and I have a free hand, I go and I watch the projects and I don't see too many of us. Very rarely do I see us up there doing anything. So I want to make sure that the MEHOP was in place. I know you say it's going back to council, but I think that the Planning and Zoning Board, we should have had a copy of it, my opinion, so that we can keep on top of it. We want to make sure that if it's in Riviera Beach, it says Riviera Beach. And we need to know that our family or our friends, children, whoever get a good job here in Riviera Beach. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Ms. Burgess, you have any questions?
I do. I have a question for city staff. I understand that the developer is contributing $5 million for the city to use elsewhere to build affordable housing. When do you all receive those funds?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I believe half of the funds are provided when they apply for their building permit. So before that permit is issued. And then the remaining 50% is provided before they receive their certificate of completion after construction.
Right. It'll be like be prior to we get the city will get the first half, and then once the certificate of occupancy or certificate of completion is secured and all inspections have been made and approved and it's ready for occupancy, then the city gets the remaining part of that.
Okay, so you have a specific time frame. And have you all, as the city, decided where those funds will be spent on a particular project?
You mean the payment in lieu funds, the 5 million?
Correct, once they're received? Is there
Well,
a plan for it?
I'm sorry, speak up, ma'am, I'm sorry.
Yes, is there a plan for the funds?
Right now, I'm not aware of any, Ms. Burgess, but I can tell you that once the city acquires all of the 5 million or 4,935,000, I'm sure there are projects that can and will be developed using those funds.
And just to add, Mr. Chair, if I may,
Yes.
those funds go into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, so they can only be used for that purpose. And so, like Mr. Thompson said, I don't believe the city has determined which project it will want to contribute those to yet. However, the dollars will be reserved for that purpose in the future.
Okay, and the chair asked my other question I had here about the other businesses in that particular strip mall area, if they had been purchased, and that response was no. I think I originally stated when this came before the board last year that the fit is not perfect because you have a lot going on right there in that area. And even though you have Nautilus and Lake Park, we just had permitted and had the Found Care built there. And there's some other things that just do not mix with this particular project. So it is feasible for anyone reasonably to assume that eventually those other things will cease to exist. And so that particular area will just be curtailed to that condo community. So for that purpose, for me, it is not a good project that I think, and I did not vote to approve it when it first came. And those are my comments, but I do have one more thing. Access for the public in that area. Can you refresh our memories on that, Mr. Thompson?
There will be a couple of areas of access, Ms. Burgess. The first access will be via Silver Beach Road. When people make a right turn, there will be an entrance exit there. In addition, and Brian, you can correct me, there is an access at the south side of that property where a curb cut will be presented for access, in that area. Where the old Winn-Dixie building is now, there is an access area. There's going to be a creation of a curb cut there. Brian?
That's correct, yes. There'll be driveway access on both the north and the south sides of the building. Pedestrian access, obviously, all along Broadway and around the building. Probably the most important public access component to the overall project is the civic attached green, which it kind of runs parallel to Lakeshore Drive, north to south, the entire length of the project. That is actually on the plat as well as being dedicated for public access, which is an important component. Again, it's basically a pedestrian green space and park space that runs along the entire frontage of Lakeshore Drive, accessible to anybody in the public.
Right, that's true. It's about 27 feet in width, ma'am, that will run north and south along Lakeshore Drive. There, meandering sidewalk, landscape treatment, things like that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Thomas. Thompson.
Any questions?
No question.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
May I ask one more question? Have you already purchased that land? You've
The Winn
purchased?
Dixie property?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm trying to think how we start the conversation by saying that it's not a good fit when the land has already been purchased. So what do we do? Do we stop their project? I don't think that's quite fair. Four meetings, and if anybody wanted to stop the project or come in here and say, I don't remember too many people talking about it. So they're here now. And as a board and the city council, which has the last word, we have to start figuring out how do we accommodate? And how do we accommodate is trying to work with the applicant to figure out what's good. We can't stop the project now. I don't see how we will stop the project because the land has already purchased. So what do? We allow it to be doormat again? Doormat for what, 10 years? Quite a long time. So what do? Shut the project down and let it doormat again? Some things I don't understand, Mr. Chair. Just a thought, just venting.
I understand. All right, and I have one more question, Mr. Thompson. We talked, so what was the amount of parking spaces?
The code requires 999 and they're providing 1,007.
Okay, so now with the restaurants there, and how many restaurants are there?
Well, it's in square footage. The restaurant square footage is about 17,120 square feet. So and then it's up to the applicant in negotiation with restaurants as to how many they could fit in that square footage.
Right, because if there is of course, a nice restaurant, and depending on the crowd that's going to be there, and with the public parking, if people coming in from outside, will that be enough parking spaces? I mean, I'm just asking a question just in case.
I mean, again, the parking requirement includes necessary parking for the restaurant, for the retail space, for any potential office spaces incorporated, in addition to the residential units themselves. So yes.
So you got that
the answer
covered.
is that all of the parking is accommodated for. Most likely, there's going to be empty parking spaces in that garage often because, those restaurants or those retail spaces will not be fully occupied.
Right.
But on those rare occasions where they're in full use, of course, we should have adequate parking as is required through the city's code.
Yeah, we, staff went through with the applicant thoroughly to make sure there was adequate parking. Mr. Terry remembers our staff level conversations. The code requires for the 17,120 restaurant space, 115 spaces. They're going to provide 123. But remember that, as Brian has said, there is a cyclical motion to parking spaces in terms of vacant parking spaces. So they met the code requirement. We had discussions. Staff did. I had discussions with Brian. We went back and forth, and so they meet the code, and actually they've exceeded it.
And Mr. Chair, I would just like to add, before you tonight is legal boundary plat for the project, though I do understand the developers here, and there's obviously curiosity about the upcoming project. But I just did want to remind the board that the item before you tonight is just the legal boundary plat.
Okay, I just want to make sure when the restaurants are open, I don't have to park and
Park
walk.
down
They
the
park, yeah, and walk down the street. So I know they got that covered. So I just want to make sure. I got one more question. The same thing that Mrs. Shepherd was talking about, and I think she expressed it very well, was that one thing I think about our board is that we're definitely about progress and wanting to see the city expand, because I definitely want to see it get bigger and better. But some of the one issue I may have with it, we're talking with some of the senior citizens here, was that something that big and that beautiful coming to our city, definitely something Silver Beach Road, I guess we'll have to work with Lake Park to be able to possibly get that expanded because of all the vehicles that'll be coming in, number one. And then number two, with something coming in that big, I know property taxes are probably going to skyrocket. And that's a good problem to have because that means the property is, it has more value. But the downfall to that is that we have some senior citizens here who no longer work or are on fixed income. And when that property value goes up now, they may have to make adjustments and everything. And so to me, since I'm not an expert in that, is there anything or any idea of what we'll be able to do to be able to help, especially our senior citizens, be able to supplement their income to be able to pay for the upcoming tax hike, property tax hike, because we're expanding and we're doing the things we do, especially with our comprehensive plan, because we're getting bigger and better. But some of the age of our elders, they're not going to be able to work and be able to make more money to be able to afford to live here. And we definitely don't want that problem.
Sam Bauer, Senior Vice President of Forest Development.
Yes, sir.
So numerous times throughout this, the Nautilus project has come up, and you're asking about the property taxes. So by way of example, Lake Park actually experienced a reduction in property taxes throughout the town as a result of the contributions from Nautilus. And we expect that to be repeated with Aculina and Riviera Beach.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah,
Chair,
we're
Yes.
heading in the right direction.
I have a
Yes.
question. How is that possible?
The tax base that's infused from a project like that eases the taxes on the city, and so they can pass that on. Now, it's the city's choice to, implement that. We have, no control over that.
Right, that would be the city's choice.
It
And
is the
also
city's
the
choice.
assessments are done yearly by the property appraiser.
Yeah.
So that would not correlate to any savings for property tax hikes.
As I said, it definitely happened within the town of Lake Park, and what the city of Riviera Beach chooses to do with that is entirely up to them.
Well, I can tell you firsthand because I work for an agency that collects property taxes, and we do not see that. I get calls every day from struggling homeowners who cannot afford to pay their taxes. And is there help in that area? No, there is not. There is not one place that I could think of that I can tell a senior calling me saying they won't be able to afford the home that they've been living in for 30 plus years because of the tax rate. Their taxes are increased $1,000, $2,000, and they're on fixed incomes. So as a person who works in that industry and hears these calls every day, I can tell you that is not the case. Unless Nautilus has set aside some funds like the chair was asking, where you can give us that information so we can pass it on and share it.
No, but I can
Okay.
also speak personally that I've experienced the same thing in the city of West Palm Beach due to the development that's happening there right now. My property taxes have gone down.
Depends on probably your
And
income and what you
none
can
of the
afford.
developers in the city of West Palm made any contributions set aside for property taxes.
Yeah, that's probably an outlier, but it's not going to happen for everyone. Again, I hear it every day.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Maybe someone that can explain to me about home being homesteaded out. I know my mom's property was homesteaded out, and I don't think she paid taxes. I can't quite remember what happened. But I know some of the seniors say they have been getting help with their property being homesteaded. Maybe somebody can explain what homestead mean. I've kind of forgot it a little bit.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
although we would like to, any of the items that the Planning and Zoning Board would like to speak about, we'd be happy to bring them back for a further discussion. But we are moving very far off of the topic of the boundary plat this evening at the moment. But if there is something that the board would like us to come and talk about at a future meeting, be it homestead exemptions or the use of tax revenue, we'd be happy to schedule that for a future meeting.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
While I respect Mr. Evans, sure, we're on the plat. I think we definitely understand. But some of the questions that we're asking, You know, the members of public that's listening right now that don't come to these meetings, they're asking all these questions. And I think for transparency, you know, we'd be given an opportunity to kind of vet it out a little bit, you know, maybe want to go to a vote for it. I don't know. But we are off onto a new horizon, and I think we need to clear it up so we can wrap it up real quick about the property taxes and all of that.
Well, I actually, I'll answer on behalf of, what they were referring to is the adjacent town of Lake Park. The new project that was built provided a significant increase in the tax revenue to the town. The town council then made the decision autonomously and completely separate from that. They now had more tax revenue, and they were able to then lower the tax rate.
Okay.
That is, this project, before you, tonight is of course the plat, but related to the taxes, this project will generate significantly more taxes. But that would be up to the city council to
It will
determine.
generate more taxes?
Yes, this project will generate more taxes, but they would be up to the city council to determine how that would be allocated in the future.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Wayne Richards on behalf of the applicant. And Ms. Early was about to speak up, but please jump in. Florida's Constitution provides for a 3% cap on homestead property. So if you are a senior, even if you're not a senior, if you reside in your home and you have the homestead designation, because that's your residence, your property taxes are capped. They cannot go up dramatically each year. It's the 3%. Florida Constitution is phenomenal. So even though property values might increase fivefold or tenfold, or who knows how high they may go, if we're fortunate, your taxes will lag greatly, 3% per year due to the Florida Constitution. Save our homestead. We all benefit from that, and it's phenomenal. This is way off topic today, but it's worth knowing. That's a phenomenal provision that we all benefit from.
Absolutely. Thank you for clearing that up.
Thank you. And again, what Mrs. Shepherd was stating was that, again, just for the people who would like to know this information, like to hear this information, just so they feel at ease. I think majority of the people here are happy about this project. So it has no bearing on the decision, but just information that we would like to know. That's all. So would we like to go to a vote for this? Any other questions?
Are we ready for the vote, Chair?
Yes.
We need a motion, Chair, and a second.
Anyone?
You can't make the motion, unfortunately, as the chair unless you're
Well, I
going to
know, I
pass
said
the
that's how you
gavel.
do it, yeah.
All right, I move that we approve resolution to replat. What else do I need to say? Put me on the spot. All right. PA, I move that we approve this agenda item, PA 23-0006.
Second.
It has been properly motioned and second. Chair, are we ready for the vote?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Ms. Joseph?
Yes.
Mr. Gallen?
Yes.
Ms. Burgess?
No.
Chair Wiley?
Yes.
The vote passes with Ms. Burgess dissenting. Item 7B, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, approving plat application PA-24-0001 from Abrams Law Firm on behalf of the owner to replat the existing lot of record approximately 0.25 acres minus 11,000 square foot of land area in order to subdivide the subject parcel control into two separate lots identified by parcel control number 56, 43, 42, 29, 02, 019-0220, providing for an effective date for other purposes. The presenter tonight will be Senior Planner Juan Suarez.
And Mr. Chair, just before Mr. Suarez goes ahead, the last time Mr. Suarez joined us at this board, he was one of our up-and-coming planners. He is now our senior planner.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, brother. So, plat application PA 24001, resolution to the city council to approve plat application. The subject parcel is to separate 2 lots. Here we see where the property is located. Here's the site. Project location is south to West 34th Street and east of R.J. Henley. This is the plat details as of right now. Replat application is to accommodate the construction of a future single-family home. I talked to the applicant. As of right now, there is no current plan to build a single-family home, but the replat will be zone single-family. So that will be the only option to the future, will be to build a single-family home, a new single-family home. But as of right now, I repeat, there's no plans of building. They want to have the option. So staff analysis, all these disciplines, zoning, utilities, and engineering, reviewed the application, make sure they were all code compliant. Zoning approved 2/11/25, utilities 4/20/24, and engineering 3/5/25. Here, the staff analysis, our engineering group, they make sure that the new plat is compliant with Chapter 177 of the Florida statutes and Chapter 30 subdivision of the Riviera Beach Ordinance Code. And then the zoning analysis, of course, this new replat will be accommodates, it's in accordance of Division 4 RS single-family dwelling districts. All properties have to have minimum dimensions, and this new property will meet those dimensions. That is, the width will be 50 feet, and then, if I'm not mistaken, 5,000 square feet. Here we show the current. This will be the new parcel, the new property will be this one right here. And then this house, of course, is to remain. This is a view from 34th Street. This is a view from eastbound Blue Heron, if I'm not mistaken. And the new property will be here. So a recommendation for staff is staff recommends to the Planning and Zoning Board to recommend to the City Council the approval of plat application PA 24001. You have any questions? I'm here for them. Also, the representative of the applicant is also here, just in case you want to ask them any questions.
Any questions by the board? Are there any comment cards?
So Chair.
You say the owner, I guess, is here?
Not the owner, like the applicant, the representative, the one who is in behalf of the applicant, of
Is
the
here.
owner. Yeah.
Okay, would like to come up, please? Introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Trillia Abrams. I'm here representing the applicant.
Okay. Any comments that you would like to make?
I wasn't really prepared to make any comments. Do you have any questions for me? How about let's start with that?
Any questions by the board?
I can explain about the property. It was previously a platted for lot plots, and now the owners are just requesting to split it instead of 4 parcels to be split into 2, if that's helpful.
Okay, so I guess we don't have any comments here. I guess we can just go to a vote. Does anyone like to make a motion?
I motion that we approve the plat application PA 240001 as submitted.
Lucy seconds.
It has been properly motioned and second. Chair, are we ready for the vote?
Yes, we are.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Ms. Joseph? Yes. Ms. Burgess?
Yes.
Mr. Gallen?
Yes.
Chair Wiley?
Yes.
The vote passes with unanimous vote, Chair. 7C, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach, Palm Beach County, Florida, approving plat application PA-24-0008 from Smiths Nichols on behalf of the applicant Fort Real Estate Group to replat an existing lot of record approximately 0.48 acres minus 20,972 square feet of land area in order to subdivide the subject parcel into 2 separate lots identified by parcel control number 56, 43, 42, 28, 16, 000-007, providing for an effective date and for other purposes. The presenter will be Senior Planner Juan Suarez.
Thank you, Umbrella. So here is the project location. Here is the site, PA 24008, north of 23rd Street. Right now, currently, there's 2 single-family homes. This is the plat detail. Of course, replat application is to accommodate the construction for 2 new single-family homes. So this is how the new properties will look like. One here, one there. Once again, staff analysis. All disciplines review this application and make sure they were code compliant, zoning, utilities, and engineering. Ingenuity made sure that this plat application is compliant with Chapter 177 of the State of Florida statutes and Chapter 30 of subdivisions of the City of Riviera Beach Code of Ordinances. Once again, zoning analysis, we make sure that the new 2 properties are code compliance with the zoning district, RS8, single family dwelling district. Project location, right now, so 1 property will be here, and then the other one will be here in the back. This is how it is, the current structures that are right there. Once again, 1 will be here, and the other one will be here. This is a preliminary site plan they have for the construction of the new properties. Once again, garage, single family, pool, single family, and the existing pool to remain. Entrance. This is the renderings for the 2 new projects. For the new 2 properties, this is the one that it will be on the front, and this is the one that is like in the back. This should be the existing pool I just spoke about. Here are more renderings. Condition of approval for PA 24008. This replat application should not become effective until the existing houses have been demolished. Recommendation from staff. City staff has reviewed the replat application PA 24008 and recommends to the Planning and Zoning Board, advises City Council to approve this application. Mr. Jordan Sperling, he's the representative of the applicant, of the owner, is here, just in case you guys want to ask some questions.
All right, any questions about the board?
Yes, Mr., I'm sorry, your name?
Excuse me. Good evening. Jordan Sperling, agent for the property owner tonight.
Well, I live at 167, and I kind of walk that block every morning. So you're going to tear down what's there?
That's
Is
correct.
that what I'm getting?
That's correct.
And then you're going to do a project in front, and then you're going to have a project in back? Is that it?
Yeah, correct. As Mr. Suarez mentioned, we're going to be demolishing the existing structures, and what we're trying to do is two nice high-end tax-producing residential properties that could benefit from that waterway.
Is it going to be, or was it 2-story? Is that what it's going to be? It looks like it's going to be 2 stories.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. Yep.
And it's near the water, correct?
Yeah, it's you can actually see at the east side of the screen, it's fronting the Intracoastal Waterway.
Okay. Well, I'm right there, and next door to you, I think the gentleman tore down that project over there.
Yes.
Will that affect you? Because I think it's like a boatyard there now.
Yeah,
Will that affect your project?
no, I don't know. No, we'll not.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
it seems like it's a nice project.
Yeah, we're still at the conceptual stages, and in the building permit, we'll get more into the site design, but we've been working with, city staff on making sure it meets all the setbacks, all the building coverage parameters. But yeah, we're really trying to make these nice properties that could, bring, tax revenue back to the city. And, really happy to be here to, for our property owner, he solely purchased the property to make these very nice properties. So, happy to be here, happy to come to the city and move forward.
Well, the houses that's there right now, because I look at them all the time, they look very nice. Why do you want to tear them down? Is there something behind? I know you say you want to make it better. You want to make it better.
For our property owner that, he currently acquired the property, he just kind of want to start fresh and, solely purchase the property to have a fresh look for his new development. And, he wanted to make a good impact as he comes into the city.
Well, that's a lot going on in there, and I was looking at the parking. I think that's what really caught my eye with that project being upgraded, the parking coming in and around that corner.
Right.
You don't think it would affect? I'm just asking. It's really none of my business, but with the traffic coming around there, with the cars coming in and out.
Yeah, I mean, we're for the site, we've been kind of closely working just on the circular driveway. We don't intend on having any traffic issues. We feel we're addressing it with having the cars that could, be in the circular driveway and for their respective homes. Not seeing any issues with any of the other adjacent traffic patterns.
Well, it sounds like look like a good project. I just stopped a couple times and look, and it's already a beautiful house that's there, and that's
Absolutely. Yep.
yeah. So you're going to upgrade.
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Ms. Joseph?
Is there, with these projects, is there gonna be a rental component in any of these? A vacation home?
I don't believe there'd be a rental. It's just for two. It's gonna be two independent single-family homes that are gonna have their own independent homes to construct and build. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Burgess? Any questions?
No.
Any questions?
No.
One question, I was looking at the map here with the garage. Is that garage for building B, or is that shared between building A and B?
It's solely for building B.
Okay. Do we have any comment cards on this?
No, sir, Chair.
Okay, so we have any more questions? Do we like to make a motion?
I move that we approve plat application PA 240008 as submitted.
Second it.
It has been properly motioned and second, Chair. Are we ready for the question, for the vote?
Yes.
Ms. Joseph?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Ms. Burgess?
Yes.
Mr. Gallen?
Yes.
Chair Wiley?
Yes.
The vote passes with unanimous vote, Chair.
On to number 8, workshop items.
We have no workshop items for this evening, Mr. Chair.
All right, number 9, on to public comments.
We have no public comment cards, Chair.
All right, on to 10, general discussion. Any staff updates?
No additional updates this evening.
Any correspondence from the board? Our next planning and zoning board meeting is deemed April 24th, 2025. Is that correct?
That is not correct, Mr. Chair. I believe our next meeting will be May 7th. I
May-
apologize for the error on the agenda.
May 7th?
May 7th.
Let me just confirm that date. It's May 8th, Thursday, May 8th.
Okay.
Anyone like the motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Everybody have a nice night.
Thank you.